Hey everyone. As you can see, I'm wearing the same clothes as in the last video because, like any self-respecting nerd, I don't like to wash up. But we're not here to talk about me. We're here to discuss the new big banner that's coming out this week. I want to waste as little of your time as possible, so let's jump right into the analysis of Brokkir, who simply needs little introduction, simply the strongest defender in the game, in my opinion. Feel free to come and, insult me in the comments if you want. We're talking about a tank that grants physical and magical reduction to adjacent allies, basically can become immune the first time he takes fatal damage, and his ultimate gives you 80% HP back while he self-freezes. Okay, so there's really not much more to say. Do you need a defender? Well, there's nothing better, but let's get to Xena. So, Xena is already a character that's a bit more complicated to analyze. At deployment, it increases the hero's attack by 20% and damage reduction by 30% for 30 seconds. These 30 seconds are going to be super important to keep in mind because Xena is a character that lasts exactly the duration of her ultimate, and I'll explain why later. The attacks inflict burns on the target's hit, and first deployment costs 11, not 17 mind you. So, what's Xena's strength? Xena is a character that belongs to the Infernals. She has really high base stats. 6400 with 27,000 HP, 2.6. 300 with 27,000 HP, 2.6 of attack speed. And a pretty normal regeneration. What's the special feature? Not her basic attack, her range, but her ultimate. Unfortunately, her ultimate, as tempting as it seems, because it increases the attack by 30%, which adds to that 20, making it 50, also boosts critical damage by 80%. And so, see how the stats start to skyrocket. Now we get to a bit more complex part. I'll try to simplify it for you. Each attack deals 130% damage to up to 5 enemies. However, fewer targets hit, the more damage is inflicted. Okay, so if there are 5 enemies, Xena's damage would be 130% to all of them. But if there are 3, it wouldn't be 130 anymore. It would be 180, 190. If there's just 1, the damage is 260%. But if there were to be 3, it would no longer be 130, it would be 180, 190. If it were to be 1, damage would be 260%. She can adapt her damage based on enemies, but there's one problem. The ultimate can only be used once per deployment, reducing the attack to 1 square. Let's see the second passive. When she attacks targets affected by burn, she deals effective damage equal to 20-30%. There's just one problem. The ultimate can only be used once per deployment, and when it ends, the attack is reduced to 1 square. So it loses both the talent bonuses and the ultimate bonuses, which won't activate anymore. At that point, it would actually be better to remove her from the field. Now, let's take a look at the second passive. When she attacks targets affected by burn, she deals damage of 20-30% of the hero's attack. More burn stacks mean more damage of the hero's attack. The damage is greater, and the more burn stacks there are, the higher the damage. Interesting. Up to 50%, so 50% increased damage and keep dealing a lot of damage. The only thing she's missing is penetration, which I don't see. Permanently increases damage further on each deploy. Oh my. Unfortunately, guys, she's a very particular character that I wouldn't recommend for beginners or even for mid-game players. She's definitely an end-game character. For me, her best content remains absolutely, I think without a shadow of a doubt, the GR5, because at high levels you'll need to remove and place units, and she does that on her own. So in these stages that require inserting and removing characters, she's definitely your top choice when you need magical damage. In other content, she stumbles a bit. We should give her a try.